All right, so get this. We're going way back, like over 2,000 years.
Oh, wow.
To ancient China to hang out with the Yellow Emperor.
Seriously?
Yeah, and his physician, Bo Gao.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They're talking about this health concept. It's super old, but still relevant today.
Okay.
It's about treating illness before it even shows up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into chapter 55 of the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine.
Okay, the classic text of TCM, right?
Right. It's like the foundation.
For sure.
We're calling this deep dive, the art of needling before it's needed.
Needling. That sounds intense.
Yeah, but we're not talking about sewing or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Think more like acupuncture.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so this chapter, it's called The Spiritual Pivot Reversal and Conformity.
That's a mouthful.
Right, and it jumps right into like the core of TCM principles.
Yeah, and that's all about understanding the flow of Kai, right?
That's right.
That vital energy that keeps us going, you know?
Yeah, I've heard of Kai before, but
Yeah.
I gotta admit, it always seems kind of mystical to me.
Yeah, it can seem that way.
Can you break it down for me? Like, what exactly is this, Quaid?
Sure. So think of Ki as the force that like makes everything in the universe move,
Okay,
including us.
gotcha.
And in TCM, it's not just some abstract idea or anything.
Right.
It's considered like the foundation of health.
Wow. Okay.
So when Ki is flowing smoothly, we thrive. But when it gets stuck
Uh-oh.
or out of balance,
Yeah.
that's when we run into trouble.
Okay, so it makes sense. So how do these like reversals and conformities fit into all of this?
Right. So reversals are like disruptions in the flow of Qi.
Disruptions?
Yeah. Imagine a river suddenly hitting a dam, things get backed up, and the energy stagnates.
Ooh, okay.
Conformities, on the other hand, are when Qi is flowing harmoniously like that river, meandering freely along its course.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And this chapter uses this like unexpected analogy to the art of war.
The art of war.
Yeah. To guide us on how to like approach these disruptions and restore that harmony.
Wow. Okay.
There's this line that really got me. It says, do not confront an unrelenting force head on. Do not engage a well-prepared formation.
Whoa, that sounds more like we're heading into battle than talking about health.
Right.
It's not exactly what you expect to find in a book about healing.
I know, it's wild.
So how does this art of war thing actually apply to treating someone with needles?
Well, it really highlights the importance of timing.
Timing.
Knowing when intervention is necessary.
Okay.
And maybe even more importantly, when it's not.
Okay, so sometimes trying to force a solution
Yeah.
when the body's out of balance
Exactly.
could actually make things worse.
Yeah, it's like that sometimes.
So are you saying there are times when needling is like the wrong thing to do?
Absolutely.
Really?
The text specifically cautions against needling when the body's showing signs like
Okay.
intense heat, profuse sweating,
Yeah.
or an erratic pulse.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, these all show that things are out of whack, and if you intervene, it could backfire.
So like trying to put out a fire by pouring more fuel on it? Okay, don't do that.
Yeah.
So if we're not supposed to confront that force head on, then what do we do? How do we know when the timing is right?
Well, that's where the real skill of the practitioner comes in.
Oh, okay. I see.
The text outlines a hierarchy of practitioners based on their ability to see these subtle signs and act accordingly.
Okay. A hierarchy of practitioners. I'm definitely interested. Tell me more about this.
Okay, so at the top you have like the superior practitioner.
The superior practitioner.
They can treat illness before it even like shows up.
Whoa, hold on. So they're basically predicting the future of someone's health.
In a way, yeah.
Hmm.
Like imagine a wildfire. They're the ones out there spotting the tiniest spark, the subtle shift in the wind, and they jump into action before anything can even ignite.
That's incredible. So they're like the ultimate preventer.
Exactly. They're all about stopping the problem before it even starts.
Okay, what about those practitioners who aren't quite at that superior level?
Right. So the next best practitioner is like a firefighter, you know, arriving early, containing the blaze before it can spread to the whole forest.
Okay, so they're dealing with a situation that's already a little out of control.
Yeah, but they're catching it early enough to minimize the damage.
Gotcha. So they're more about damage control than total prevention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you have the competent practitioner. They come in as the fire's dying down, making sure those embers are totally out so nothing flares up again.
So they're like the cleanup crew, making sure everything's really gone.
Yeah. They treat then the disease is waning.
Okay, so they're focused on preventing a relapse.
Right. And then you have the inferior practitioner.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah. They're the ones who only show up when the whole forest is already burned down.
Oh, wow.
They're trying to rebuild from the ashes, which is way more challenging.
Yeah, starting from scratch is never easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the ideal is to be like that superior practitioner, right? Catching those subtle imbalances before they become big problems.
Yeah, for sure. I think we'd all like to have a superior practitioner on speed dial.
Right. And the text really emphasizes this with a powerful quote. It says, "When the illness is at its peak, do not dare to inflict harm. Needle when it is already in decline, and the outcome will be greatly favorable."
So it's saying that sometimes doing nothing is the best course of action.
Yeah, it's about working with the body's natural rhythms, supporting its own healing power instead of trying to force things.
I like that. Working with the body, not against it.
Exactly. And this is where I think we can connect this ancient wisdom to modern preventative health practices.
Oh, yeah, totally. We're always hearing about sleep, diet, and exercise.
Right, but this adds another layer of understanding to those things.
Okay, how so?
Well, for example, getting enough sleep isn't just about feeling less tired. It's about giving your body the time to restore its quencher.
So it's like hitting the reset button, giving your body the downtime it needs to recharge.
Exactly. And then when it comes to nutrition, the Yellow Emperor's Classic encourages us to eat in harmony with the seasons.
Okay, so eating what's naturally in season.
Exactly. It provides the specific nutrients your body needs at different times of the year to stay balanced.
Makes sense, like eating warm, cooked foods in the winter and lighter foods in the summer.
Yeah, aligning your diet with nature's rhythms.
I like that. And then there's movement.
Yeah.
It's not just about burning calories or getting ripped. It's about keeping your ki flowing.
Exactly. So finding ways to move your body that feel good and energizing, not draining or stressful.
Right, whether it's gentle stretching, yoga, tai chi, or just going for a walk.
Yeah. It's all about finding what works for you and what makes you feel alive.
I'm starting to think about those little signs my body might be sending me that I've been ignoring, like pushing through fatigue or digestive issues, telling myself it's nothing. What if those are like the sparks that a superior practitioner would be paying attention to?
It's definitely worth considering. Those seemingly small discomforts could be early signs of imbalance. And addressing them early on could prevent bigger problems down the line.
So even those little things shouldn't be ignored.
Right. It's about paying attention to the whispers before they become shouts.
Okay, so let's say we are paying attention to those whispers and trying to live in a way that supports our ki. But what happens when we do get sick despite our best efforts?
That's a great question. It brings us back to those different levels of practitioners. Remember, even the most skilled practitioner can't completely prevent illness.
Right, life happens, we get stressed, and sometimes our bodies just get thrown off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do we approach illness from this perspective?
Yeah, it sounds like it's not just about fighting it off as quickly as possible.
Right. The key is to remember that illness isn't the enemy.
Oh, okay.
It's a signal, a message from your body saying, hey, something needs attention over here.
I like that. Instead of seeing illness as something bad, it's like a wake-up call.
Exactly. It's an opportunity to learn and grow.
So instead of just trying to suppress the symptoms,
Yeah.
we should be trying to understand what our body's trying to tell us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about listening to your body and figuring out what it needs.
So we need to ask ourselves, what are the specific symptoms? When did they start? What makes them better or worse?
Right. All of those are clues that help you understand what's really going on.
Okay, so it's a more holistic approach. Looking at the whole picture, not just the symptoms in isolation.
Exactly. And that's really the essence of what the Yellow Emperor's Classic is all about.
Wow, this whole conversation has been eye-opening.
I know, right? It's like a whole new way to look at health and illness.
Yeah, it is. It's like we've been given this new lens to see things through.
And the best part is, there aren't any strict rules to follow.
Right.
It's all about being aware and listening to your body and making choices that, support your well-being.
I love that listening to your body's whispers. It's such a powerful way to put it.
It is. It's so easy to ignore those little signs,
Totally.
until they turn into big problems.
Yeah, we get so caught up in life that we just tune those things out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like the Yellow Emperor's Classic tells us, those whispers are important.
Mm-hmm.
They're like messages from our body trying to guide us towards balance.
Okay, so we've talked about paying attention to those signs and some ways to support our quick through sleep, diet, movement, all that stuff.
Right.
But I'm curious about those times when we do get sick, even when we're doing all the right things.
That's a great question.
How do we approach healing from this perspective?
Well, remember, even when we get sick, it's not like we've failed.
Oh, okay.
It's actually an opportunity to learn and grow.
Really?
Yeah. Well, think about it. Illness isn't something to be afraid of.
Okay.
It's a chance to understand our bodies better.
I like that perspective.
And by using what we've talked about today, we can approach healing in a more mindful way.
Yeah, with more awareness and compassion for our bodies.
Exactly.
I'm feeling so much more empowered to take care of my own health now.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's like you've given me this new toolbox and a fresh perspective.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
True.
We're always learning and discovering new things about ourselves and how amazing our bodies are.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground today, from ancient Chinese wisdom to modern-day tips.
We have.
I feel pretty inspired.
That's great to hear. And that's what's so cool about this ancient wisdom.
Yeah.
It's just as relevant today as it was back then.
Totally.
It reminds us that we're connected to nature and that we have this inner wisdom to guide us.
Absolutely. Before we go, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Okay.
We talked about that superior practitioner who can spot those subtle imbalances before illness even pops up.
Right.
So what are some signs your body might be sending you right now?
Yeah.
What are you maybe ignoring?
Good question.
How can you start using the wisdom of the Yellow Emperor's Classic in your own life, like today?
Yeah. Think about it, explore it, and maybe you'll discover your own inner superior practitioner.
I love that. So much good stuff to think about. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.